Welcome back from Western Wisconsin. Vice President J.D. Vance here in La Crosse Thursday. Vance at a local manufacturing, a steel fabrication facility, touting the president's big, beautiful bill ahead of the midterms. Also taking our questions on the president's push to send National Guard troops to Chicago and the potential in Wisconsin after Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson rejected any future idea.
Is Milwaukee a super safe city right now? It's had some crime problems. It's a beautiful city. There are a lot of beautiful, incredible, hardworking people who live there, but let's be honest, Milwaukee has had some crime problems.
Would the administration consider ever coming into a city like Milwaukee?
Well, again, we want to be invited into Milwaukee. We want to help people. We would love to come in and help lock up those violent criminals. I hope the mayor of Milwaukee gets some common sense and actually fights for her residents for a change, or his residents for a change, because we would love to actually help cut down on the crime in this community.
With that, let's bring in Republican Congressman Scott Fitzgerald. Congressman, welcome back to Up Front.
Yeah, good to be with you. Good to be with you.
We've got a lot to get to, so let's start with the president's push to send National Guard troops to Chicago. You're backing this plan. Tell me why.
Well, because it's bringing results right now. I think that what we've seen in the past was the city of Chicago, which I frequent quite often. There's still grave concerns about the number of murders and the amount of crime that's happening there. And, I like kind of what the president tried in D.C., another place, obviously, I spent a lot of time in. And, it's resulting, I think, in kind of a change that's not only very evident, but very rapid.
Do you think that this infringes, though, on states' rights?
The 10th Amendment is very clear that there are specific things that the executive branch has a purview over. And, there's oversight from Congress that comes into place after 48 hours. So I think there'll be some discussion and debate about that if the president continues to expand that to other states throughout the nation. But I'm comfortable where we're at right now.
Would you welcome the National Guard and National Guard troops deployed by the president in Wisconsin?
Right now, Milwaukee's a different situation. We've got actually some good numbers out of Milwaukee over the last couple of years about crime that's leveled off or been reduced. So, I'm not sure it's something that the White House would really consider when you look at the long list of other communities that have issues as a result of crime and homelessness and some other very urban areas that it doesn't seem to exist right now in Milwaukee.
I want to ask about the vice president's visit to Wisconsin. He was in La Crosse Thursday touting the big, beautiful bill. The president now wants to rebrand it ahead of the midterms. Is this bill becoming a liability for Republicans?
Oh, no, I don't think so. As a matter of fact, I think the opposite is happening right now. As people have time to kind of digest what's in it, because it was a very large bill, and specifically on the piece related to taxes. That's where I think you're going to see a lot of younger families that, it's probably not something where you're going to pick up the phone and call your accountant. That's probably going to happen in January, February, and March of next year. But people are going to see that once the big, beautiful bill is kind of implemented, that's the piece they're really going to feel.
Here in the state, the governor's race is starting to take shape. Do you have a preferred candidate in the race?
I'm kind of still waiting to see how the field develops. Good friend of mine and also a colleague of mine, Congressman Tiffany, I know, is still considering it. Until he makes up his mind, I think I'll kind of lay low on that topic.
Do you want to see a large Republican primary? Do you think that that's beneficial?
Yeah, I've never run away from the idea that primaries aren't a good exchange and something that actually helps propel some people into the limelight. I understand that there's a lot of money that's raised and spent in primaries, but I don't know that that's the situation this time. I think because we are kind of starting from scratch on both sides of the aisle when it comes to the gubernatorial, that certainly I think, at the end of the day, it's going to generate some name ID, whoever emerges on both sides. So it'll be a fascinating thing, I think, as we watch it develop politically.
Really quickly, I want to go back because you said you'll stay low on the preferred candidate question before your friend Congressman Tiffany makes his decision. Does that mean he would be your preferred candidate?
You know, Tom and I have been friends for a long time. We served together in the legislature, and I'd love to see. I think Tom would make an outstanding governor. It would be something. He still needs to make up his mind, though, and I know he's talking to a lot of people and reaching out to a lot of people. So I'll leave that for him to make that announcement, maybe on your show.
Congressman Scott Fitzgerald, thanks for being here. We always appreciate your insight and your analysis. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. It was good to be with you.
All right, up next, the ex-con now tasked with quelling the violence in Milwaukee. Adam Procell, his first days on the job, his thoughts on the National Guard. He's talking about it all with us next.